Hello, this is post Billy 502 recording from like a backdrop kind of thing. I have to do this because one, I thought it would just be a good idea to explain what happens in this video and kind of stuff like that, but also because the way I recorded my microphone and the thing didn't work exactly, so I'll have it fixed up and like it'll work perfectly in the next one, probably, hopefully. But for this one, I thought it would be a good idea anyway to talk about what happened in this and what my thought process was through the whole video and stuff. And I'll show like the clips and stuff of it. But let's just get into it. First section and stuff like that. First level we had to do is following the dot part. Yeah, just following the the dot. That was easy. It was just 5 minutes of me following the dot very slowly. By the way, this is Wally W only challenge. I didn't say that. So yeah, W only challenge following dot easy. That level done in like 5 minutes. Next level, not also too bad. This is the Eve level where you meet Eve for the first time. You just have to follow her a bunch. It's all pretty easy and stuff except for basically there's a couple sections that are mildly challenging. One of them is on screen, it will be on screen now. This like dish kind of part of the level where you have to go through the dish and then onto the other side while the spinning blade things, I don't know what those are basically, yeah, those things basically you just have to time it right. And this was a bit of a timing thing. It took a decent amount of time, but we got through it eventually. And the next part was the section right after, which was for some reason hard, but maybe I'm just bad at the game. I don't know. This took way too long than it should have. But whatever, we got that done, and we're almost to the end of the level at this point, and then it clicked into me, oh, we're gonna have a fun time with this next level, aren't we? And it's a hard part. This section, normally what you have to do, you have to chase after Eve, and then once you reach her, you get close enough, you'll be able to reach her. But that's if you're moving constantly the whole time. You have to always be moving, and it's just that it's not how many times you lap the course, which I did multiple times because usually you catch her on the third lap, which didn't work. So it's just a speed thing. You just have to just catch up to her with normal skill. And also, if you stop at all, and she will just turn around and stare at you and laugh at you menacingly. I hate you. But anyway, it took me a while to find out a strategy. I first tried well, obviously, the very first thing I did was running around the whole map 3 times over, multiple times over, to see if I could even trigger anything that would get close enough. But nope, she just runs infinitely if you like that, if you don't catch her. And then another point, the one that I tried for one of the longer times was I thought well, if she's going to stand still there, I can go backwards and run the course backwards from a single point. So I dragged her all the way to one of the bigger jump cliffs because I didn't think, oh, this jump doesn't look possible to me. So I'll drag her as far across as I can, and then she will go like halfway across, and I can go all the way back and then get her from there, from the other side. Easy. No, if one at some point at over like here or something, it's probably a point hovering it over the screen or something, I don't know. But yeah, at like somewhere like just before like even before you even get to that area, she just like zooms across like just zooms there. Yeah, just gets just gets all the way back in front of me and it doesn't trigger and I can't run into her to trigger it. So I had to do a little Googling on this and look at the speedrun, hoping speedrun, please help, please, speedrun people, please tell me you found a way. And they just literally immediately just run backwards to run the whole course backwards from the very start. The problem is the big jump area, which looks impossible, but surprisingly isn't, because like this kind of slopish area is not really like an unclimbable surface. Most surfaces in this game that have an incline can actually be climbed up, which is really dumb. And in the speedrun, it doesn't. It's like a little difficult, it looks like. But like, what made it extra difficult in here is I don't have like any movement options at all apart from W and slide camera. Fortunately, I can use my camera thing, first person view, to basically adjust myself, but it's super difficult to get up there because there's some just random invisible wall in the way. Like, how am I? There's just an invisible wall. Why is this here? I guess to prevent people from doing that, but still, they didn't put it super well. But like, they put it high enough where you can't hit it if you jumped off the map from the intended way, but high enough where you just can't get there at a certain point. Fortunately, I was able to get on top of the ramp somehow and then make it over, complete that level, and that level was done. That was the first hard level. And then we reached the second hard level, which I suddenly thought, oh, this might be impossible. The Eve flying level. This level basically controls all the Eve levels, control with basically W, A, S, and D as your movement in place looking around area. Not controlling, you press G to use your boost to move forward. All W does in here is it just makes you look up. Like I allow G obviously because I can't complete the level if I can't move, but I only use W. But at points in this, I thought, should I use the S key to move to look down? Because that would be annoying. But I decided to go against it and didn't do it at all. And it was many sections. I'm just gonna like show all the clips and stuff of like just all the stuff that's happening, all the different hard struggling areas I had to go through. There was like all the different gas parts I had to go through, but I eventually somehow miraculously managed to beat the level. I don't even know how it happened like that. Or it honestly amazes me that this level, which I honestly thought was gonna end the run here, was gonna be impossible, but we somehow beat it, and that was good. And then and then there's possibly the hardest level, and probably the hardest thing I've had to ever do in all my time playing video games was this level, the speedrun level, similar to the second level from like the very beginning. It's pretty similar. It's the same concept basically, but yeah, it's this one has a lot to talk about. Firstly, this main section which I go through, yeah, that wasn't not super difficult. It took like one attempt, I think, to get past it, but whatever. I got past it. That was fine. And then I went through to the second section, which has a checkpoint at around about like it was at this red block, red laser filling station block thing. That was the first like checkpoint thing in the game. But this part got me stuck on this level for 2 hours. I was stuck on this one section for 2 hours. That it was the longest and most painful thing I've had to ever do. It was so hard. Like, oh my god, it was so difficult to do all of this. Like, I had to find so many different stuff to guide myself. Because again, if you don't remember, I do not have any control over the first person view because I'm constantly moving. And I can only access first person view if I'm standing still. And you cannot stand still. The main strategy I found for this was hitting off walls so I'd face a certain direction for half a second and I'd go into cube form while holding W. So 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 I can basically go straight into that direction. And there's two ways you can go in this level. You can go to the left and the right. The right way is impossible. You can get there almost, but you just can't get across this thin bridge because you do not have the right angle to get there. And even if you manage to get across the bridge, which I've done several times, you can't get over the second ramp because you're not at the right angle still. it's so that was a no-go. After like probably like half an hour to an hour of trying that, I gave up on that section and figured that's impossible. I'll try something else. And I went tried to go on the right side, which took forever. On the That's not the right side, it's the left side. So I went onto the left side, and after many attempts, after literally probably an hour of doing that, I managed to make it. Just so after barely making it in there, I was like, okay, there's going to be a checkpoint or something here, I presumed. And the next section, which I found was I died immediately. I spawned back at the red box with no checkpoint there. I had to do it again after 2 hours. So that really annoyed me then. So I figured, let me just go over there and check how much of this level is actually possible. So I go over there. Well, I obviously have to cheat to get over there, but I told myself I'm just gonna definitely, if I see that these parts are possible, I'll just go back. I'll put a like physical myself checkpoint there because I didn't want to spend another 2 hours trying to do that one section again. That I didn't want to do that. That was just not fun. So after looking around there and trying to see if it was possible, I had to come to the conclusion this level's impossible. There's way too many holes in this level. You cannot get a certain angle for long enough to stay. You have to stay on the left wall at all times. And even if you do that, most of the time you're not even gonna make it there because there's just gonna be a hole that appears out of nowhere. You have zero control over where you go most of the time in these levels. So I had to come to the conclusion that this level itself was impossible. And that sucks because I thought this challenge was gonna be possible, except like for some harder bits. So yeah, that's the challenge failed, I guess. But I want to know what you guys think of this. Um, do you think I should continue this series? Like continue making these episodes, just continue just trying to beat the game. Like see how many levels I can do that are possible. Now, I'm gonna be real with you. This was like reasonably fun at the beginning, but like after I played those the first two levels I did, those easy sections, I realized this isn't much of a challenge, more of a patience test with it just has easy levels and then ridiculously hard levels, the ones I just did. There is no in between of challenging. It's just is this even possible to do it because of the way the game is made. So whether this I going to make another episode of this and continue the series, I don't know if you guys really want it, then maybe. But if you don't think that I should do it, I do have an alternative. Is I could probably start learning to speedrun this game. Speedrunning is something I want to bring onto this channel, and I think doing it in this game is a good idea because there are not a lot of speedruns of this game in general. So getting a time that could be at least a record would be cool. But also just I really like this game and I want to play it more and make videos on it, but there's just not much to do to make videos on it. So I think this is a good idea to do it. So either we choose I'm gonna go into speedrunning anyway, but it's whether we do speedrunning stuff now and just ditch the challenge, or I continue and try to beat the challenge and then do speedrunning after. Let me know in the comments below what you want. I personally am wanting to do the speedrunning because I think that's going to be more interesting to make one videos off of because like showing my progress through speedruns and speedrun strats I learned, but also just because holding W and doing those kind of things in that was not really interesting or difficult in the first place. So yeah, that's all from me then, and I'll see you later.